do it. Are we doing dirt this morning? Is that what we're doing? We're doing dirt this morning, huh? Alright. So yeah, hey, thanks for joining us. This is the Matt Pierce Morning Overdrive on the Matt Pierce Show. How are you? Thanks for joining us all across the networks, all across Spreaker.com and the whole network. Thanks for joining us. You know, it is Tuesday, March 29th, 2016, and this is a very special day for Texans. Specifically, Houston Texans. And I don't mean the Houston Texans football team, but it's kind of tied into that. It's a really special day for fans of the Houston Oilers. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Earl Campbell. This day in 1955, Earl Campbell was Earl Campbell was born, and so we are really thankful that the Tyler Rose and the Earl Campbell Sausage Company was born. I like the Earl Campbell sausage. I like it. I think it's a great thing to cook with. I mean, I'm a huge fan. If they want to advertise on the show, I would give Earl Campbell free advertising on the show just because he's Earl Campbell. I mean, he is the absolute best thing to happen to Texas football since Roger Staubach. I mean, I think so. I'm a huge fan of him. I am a absolute huge fan of Earl Campbell. So Earl Campbell, happy birthday this day, 1955. You were born and you gave Tyler, Texas, something to be proud of other than roses. And you gave Tyler, Texas, and you gave Houston, Texas, a reason to be on the map. I mean, because if it wasn't for Earl Campbell, Houston would be nothing. Simple as that. Now, we love you, Houston. Thanks for listening down here in Houston. But the fact is, we just want to wish Earl Campbell a really happy birthday. And while I'm on that note here about Houston, I want to give a shout out to this cop. And you know, I go through this whole mentality that cops are sometimes not the greatest people in the world. Okay? Sometimes, you know, we have this idea that cops are not our friends. And they go out beating people up and all this and that. Well, I have a very, very different story about HPD officer Barry Curtis, who is a department liaison to clergy. In Houston, there is this neighborhood in Houston. It's called Sunnyvale, and our Sunnyside. And let me tell you a little bit about this Sunnyside neighborhood. If you've never been to Houston, if you don't know anything about Houston, in January, a 95-year-old Army veteran, female Army veteran, who served in World War II, she was beaten in her home during a robbery. Well, she died last week from physical and emotional trauma. And last month, a man who was in the same area was shot in broad daylight at a gas station. The shooting happened on a Sunday afternoon, was caught on security video, whole 9 yards. No arrests had been made in either case. But here's what it did. It motivated those who live in and kind of care about this community to mobilize and march down the streets and get something done. Okay? It ignited a spark in this community to go out and do something good, something positive, something happy. And that's what happened here. They organized a prayer walk that included the mayor, Sylvester cartoon character Turner, the police chief, what's her name, Moldana or whatever her name is, and a uniformed officer who borrowed a bullhorn to say a prayer of his own. Okay? This officer, Barry Curtis, was surrounded by a large crowd of people who predominantly were African American. That's who lives there in this neighborhood, predominantly. Okay? The crime in this part of town has gone through the roof. This cop grabs a bullhorn and says the most amazing prayer. You can watch, the video has gone viral. Okay? He does it at the same gas station where this fatal shooting happened in February. He prayed for unity and protection over this area. In an interview with Channel 13, ABC, KTRK, he said, "We are here to protect and serve. That's what our job is. And serving is not just going out and patrolling, but praying for the public as well." Now, I'm a big advocate about keeping church and state separate. I'm a huge fan of that. I think the church ought to stay out of things. But however, I think this cop really did the right thing. He showed that, look, we're not here against you, we're here for you. And the funny thing is, if you watch this video, you hear people in the background not only clapping, but as he's saying this prayer, you hear people saying, "Hell yeah, right on, hell yeah," you know? And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm watching this video, I'm thinking to myself, that's real stuff right there. I mean, that's about as real as it gets, right? I mean, that's pretty awesome. So, now, Barry Curtis sees his mission to go out and change lives. He doesn't see it as his mission to go out there and racially profile, beat people up, do whatever cops do. Okay? And I know I'm awfully critical on this show and my other shows. I've been awful critical of law enforcement. But sometimes we get cops that do the right things. And this cop is doing the right thing. He's going out there and showing people, look, we're not all bad. Okay? He's going out there and showing people that, look, we're not all bad. Okay? Barry Curtis sees his mission as going out and doing good. He says that we take spiritual ownership of areas, and when we pray, we ask for God's help, and we see crime go down. Now, coincidentally, he said this prayer in the parking lot of the gas station that had this fatal shooting, where the little jackass who shot this guy has not been caught. He said he plans to study before and after crime statistics to show the cause and effect. Now, it's not just to see a color or a badge or a uniform. Just everyone coming together to offer hope to one another, said a spiritual leader, Tacoma Lighton. Barry Curtis says, it's like out of the book of Nehemiah. We're the ones with the weapons. The people here are the ones with the tools and the desire to improve their community. And when we team together, it makes a good partnership. You know, the community is banded together around faith. Faith that they may not have, or faith that might be weak, or a faith in a system that's probably failed many, many people. But out there, I think there's some hope here to this story that this HPD officer has done this Barry Curtis HPD officer has done a fantastic job with this, and my hat's off to him. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought HPD was going to fire him. I did. I thought Houston PD was going to fire this guy for saying a prayer. Because, you know, we have Sylvester Turner, this cartoon character, who is our mayor here in Houston. You know, who to me, I don't know, looks like Pepe Le Pew or something. I don't know. But, you know, the guy is a joke. I mean, I don't know. We thought Anise Parker was a joke. We haven't seen nothing yet. And this idiot's just starting. I really thought that Sylvester Turner was going to say, we need to fire this cop. He said a prayer in public. And I don't feel like he will, because there's too many people out there that think, oh my God, this guy did a great job. But then again, once Sylvester Turner saw that it was going to be a good photo op, and it's good PR, I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. I don't know. We can get into that a whole nother time. But, we might get into that later on the show. But the idea here is pretty simple. This cop went out and did what he felt was the right thing, and he's not having to pay a price for it. He's not being kicked to the curb by the union or by the department for saying, you know what, maybe you shouldn't have said a prayer, that might have offended somebody. It just goes to show there's still some decent people out there, doesn't it? I mean, there's not many, but there's a few decent people left in this world, right? I mean, a couple, one or two. I don't know. On a different note, where in the hell has Indiana been? Okay, I live in Texas. Okay, I mean, I just want to know, where in the hell has Indiana been all these years? Guns.com is reporting that Indiana approves deer hunting with rifles? Excuse me? We have been doing this in Texas for 150 years or something. Indiana is just now getting on board with this. So this is what it says, okay? Up until this season, deer hunters in Indiana could only use handguns, shotguns, and muzzle loaders as approved firearms. Last week, Indiana Governor Mike Pence signed this broadly supported legislation to establish rifle seasons for Indiana deer hunters. There was some pushback from state conservation authorities. This measure passed greatly in January, 84-5. Then it won 38-12 in the state Senate earlier this month. Last May, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources and the Natural Resources Commission argued the state's 266,500 deer hunters were split on the issue and had already decided against such a move. Backers of the change argue that fears by some hunters in the DNR, of course, of putting too much pressure on the deer herd by implementing a limited season to expire in 2020. They're arguing that they're misplaced. Representative Lloyd Arnold of Leavenworth, Indiana, who was the author of this law, said that we aren't increasing the season, we aren't increasing the deer count you take. There are only 5 new calibers you can use. We already have muzzle loaders that can shoot over 300 to 400 yards. I can use every one of those guns 365 days a year for any other species besides deer. Why do we have a restriction? It doesn't make sense. I agree, Lloyd Arnold, it doesn't make sense. Okay? Case in point. First off, you shouldn't be shooting a damn deer with a shotgun in the first place. I know some people do it. I know it's fairly legal in most of the states, unless you're in some of those New England states, those Northeast states that are like anti-hunt everything and have deer walking down the middle of the street. But the truth of the matter is, I think it's more humane to shoot a deer with a rifle than a shotgun. I mean, it's going to die a hell of a lot quicker. I mean, it's true. I mean, why should you sit there and I mean, a pistol? I don't even think you can shoot a deer in Texas with a pistol. I mean, where have these people been? My brother lived in Indiana for a little bit. One of his kids was born there. I don't know. I mean, I spend as little time as I have to in Indiana. To me, I think there's one good thing in Indiana: the racetrack. That's about it. I mean, although it's a very beautiful state, I choose not to go there. But you know, shooting deer with pistols ought to be against the law. I mean, I think it is here in Texas. I don't think you should. Can you shoot a deer with a pistol? Maybe you can. I don't know. It's just, do you realize how damn close to a deer you have to be to humanely kill a deer with a pistol? I mean, that's kind of stupid. Okay? I would much rather you take that deer out with a 30-06 or a 270 than with a deer, than with a 9mm pistol. I mean, you pull your Glock 40 out, yeah, it's going to do some damage if you're 10 yards away or something. But you're going to inevitably have some idiot that sees a deer, 100 yards away, and he's going to pull out his Glock 40 and he's going to pop that deer, and he's going to wound that deer, and that deer's going to suffer as it dies. Makes absolutely no sense. Where if I pull out my 270, I can pop that deer from 100 yards, and it's going to fall pretty quick, and it's going to die fairly quickly. Indiana, it took you this long to get on board with this? I mean, really, come on. Give me a break. I mean, I don't know. Wherever y'all are, whatever you do, whatever mindset you have is great, but I'm not feeling it. Okay? So that, to me, that's just a stupid law. That I think hunting with rifles ought to be like the only way to do it for a deer anyway. Baseball season is upon us. Final Four coming to Houston this weekend. Okay? Final Four coming to Houston this weekend. Great thing to do. Come to Houston, right? Okay? I'm sorry, I'm just not that big on basketball. I'm just not that big on this whole Final Four thing. I think it's a joke. I mean, we're pushing homeless people away from resources to improve the image for the Final Four. Sylvester Turner, cartoon character Turner, you can put a stop to this if you really wanted to, but I don't think you really want to, because it makes too much sense. Okay? So it makes more sense to you to force the homeless people away from stuff that they need for the Final Four, okay, then, you really want to improve the image of the city, right? Let me tell you what's going to improve the image of the city. Clean up the city. I mean, quit electing filth like you to represent people in this city. Okay? Still, I don't know how in the hell you got elected, but the truth of the matter is, I'm not a fan. I never will be. Nothing you can do is going to make me a huge fan of what you do. Okay? I mean, for crying out loud, Bill White was a better mayor. Bill Not So White was a better mayor than this guy. I admit anybody was better than Lee P. Brown, I mean, who made a career of moving from city to city to city to be a mayor. Mind you, he only went into African-American cities, predominantly African-American cities, where Lee Brown could get elected. I feel like Sylvester Turner is trying to revive that legacy of Lee Brown. More importantly, in Houston, scratch the Final Four. More importantly, we got the Astros. And baseball season's fixing to start. I have to admit, I am much more on fire about that than I am the Final Four. Okay? I just am. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, here's what you can do. You go down to Minute Maid Park, and I've never been there for a ball game. Not yet. But I spend a lot of time down there in Minute Maid Park. Okay? You see homeless people down there washing windows, parking cars, for tips. I mean, what's wrong with that? What the hell's wrong with that? I mean, they're washing cars, cleaning windows, whatever they do for tips, passing out flyers. I mean, hey, let them make a little bit of money off the deal, man. Let them make a buck. I mean, homeless people, to me, are part of the character of a city. I mean, I don't think anybody should be homeless. I don't advocate flying a sign like they do in Austin. But, I mean, what the hell? I mean, what the hell? I mean, let them do it if they want to do it, right? Okay? So, overnight, we had this hijacking, okay, of this Egypt airplane, right? We had this hijacking, okay? This photo going around on Twitter of this dumbass who took a selfie with a bomber. I mean, what is up with that? What a dumbass. I mean, the guy's got bombs, right, stretched to him, and you're like, hey, let me take a selfie. I mean, what? Are you stupid? I mean, why not pull a pin out of your pocket and put it in his jugular or something? Instead, you're taking a selfie with a freaking hijacker? What in the hell are you doing? What in the hell are these people thinking? Is this the world that we live in today? I mean, you're like, hey, let me take a selfie with this guy. He looks cool. He's got bombs strapped to his chest. Let me take a selfie. Like, hey, you mind? You're fixing to be famous, dude. Can I take a selfie? I'm sorry. That guy deserves to get whatever happens to him. That guy absolutely deserves it. Okay? Instead of pulling out a pin and saying, you know what, look, man, I'm going to stab you in the jugular because I can't carry a gun on a plane. I mean, obviously, stop right there. Don't hit the button, buddy. Do not hit the button to blow yourself up just yet on this plane. I want to take a selfie. Give me a break. I mean, what kind of people, what kind of buffoons live in this world? I mean, there's a bunch of idiots that live in this world. No doubt about it. Bunch of damn idiots, man. And I mean, Flight 93, the one that crashed in Pennsylvania on 9/11, those people were in more fear for their lives than they were taking a selfie with a terrorist. This idiot takes a selfie with a terrorist. I'll post it on Facebook, facebook.com, Matt Pierce News. I mean, how stupid is this? I mean, where do we... You know what? Hey, Dwayne, give that guy a hand, will you? Teabag of the year right there, man. I mean, maybe not of the year, but he ought to be a nominee. I mean, he ought to be, I mean, if you had guns on board a plane... Yeah, there you go. Give me a pistol sound effect. Give it again, will you? There's people in Indiana, too, who shoot deer with pistols. I'm just saying... give me some sort of break here, okay? Give me an idea here of what in the hell you're thinking. What goes through your mind when you want to take a selfie with a terrorist? People just have no common sense. I mean, I'll admit there's a few good people like this HPD cop left in the world, but on the other hand of this, I mean, let's just be honest. The world is full of mostly dumbasses. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, other than you great folks who listen to the show, you folks are the most educated, most enlightened people out there because y'all listen to me 3 hours a day or whatever, even 30 minutes a day, which, I mean, I'm going to tell you, because you listen to this show, you are smarter. And I mean that. You guys are the smartest, most educated, most intelligent listeners in all of talk radio because you hear me. I mean, I'm the guy that makes you smarter. And I'm the guy that's not going to take a selfie with a terrorist. And I'm not going to shoot a deer with a pistol. Yeah, there you go. See? There you go. So, there's just some more sound effects from Dwayne, our wonderful sound guy up in Helena, Montana. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know this is the Overdrive, and we haven't even done our 3-hour show for the day yet. That you can subscribe to on ConnectPal.com. check it out, connectpal.com /Matt Pierce News, the Matt Pierce Show. You can check it out there. You know, let me give you a little plug on that for a minute, by the way. For, what is it, $6.99 a month, you get me. Not only do you get to hear my beautiful voice wake you up in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever you want to listen to the show, you get to become more educated, more enlightened. You get to become smarter. But now, with the advance of technology, you get to see my beautiful radio face on webcam, on the studio cam. I mean, who would not want to see that? I mean, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and see myself in the mirror every single day. It's the highlight of my day. Well, now for $7 a month or whatever it is, you can too. And you also get a subscription to our newsletter, which is going to be great. I mean, I sound sort of like Donald Trump, right? Let's make talk radio great again. I mean, instead of listening at Lush Bimbo and Sean Hammerhead or whatever his name is, you know, I'm all about making radio great again. Because since I left radio kind of went to pot. Now that I'm back, radio's back. So, anyway, connectpal.com, The Matt Pierce Show. Spreaker.com, The Matt Pierce Show. You can connect with us. One final thought as we get ready to wrap up here. We got about 3 minutes left in the Morning Overdrive. And you guys, I want you to know something. I don't care who you vote for. Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, or me. You can vote me for president. I'm letting you know you can vote me for president. Write my name in there. Matt Pierce, Mattpierce. You can write my name in there for president. I'll be more than happy to go to Washington and represent y'all. I'll get 2 votes out of the deal. So anyway, I don't care who you vote for in the GOP. Just do not vote for Hillary and don't vote for Bernie. Okay? If we get another 4 years of these people, it's going to lead to another 8 years of these people. Okay? Let me tell you something. You don't want these people. Our country cannot survive 8 more years of communist rule. Okay? These are the people that say, if I make $50 million a year, then you should take 49.5 million of it and spread it out to the people who have nothing, just to make life fair. Let me tell you something. Life is not fair. Okay? You have to work your ass off, and you have to get somewhere in life. The government is not going to hand you jack, and it shouldn't hand you jack. That is the beauty of democracy. That is the beauty of the society that we live in. Okay? You do not deserve everything handed to you on a silver platter. If you want to make something of yourself, go out there and make something of yourself. The Democrats want to give it to everybody. I believe we should help the poor. I believe we should help the people who have nothing. But the truth of the matter is, you can give these people a hand out and a hand up, but don't give them the whole body. Okay? Help people where you can, but don't freaking just let the Democrats take every bit of the money that you have in the bank and give it to the have-nots of this world. Okay? Charity starts at home. Remember that. Charity starts at home. It does not start at the Capitol or the White House. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This has been the Matt Pierce Morning Overdrive, the Redneck Nation, Matt Pierce Show. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you later on in the 3-hour show, connectpal.com, Matt Pierce Show. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back. Stick like glue. We'll see you. Have a great day and make it a wonderful day for you. We'll talk to you soon.